Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Ron's Garage with Ron Delvaux. And today we will not be peeking into the past into Ron's Garage, but we're still going to see something cool, because when it comes to cool, Ron's our man. Take it away, Ronnie.
What a catchy tune.
Well, it is a catchy tune. You know, any chance you know who made that tune?
My son. I have a little hardware project that I've been working on. I have a 16K color computer here. And what do you guys think of a project whereas I could sell these guards? If you can see on the edge of my computer.
Oh, look at that. A keyboard guard to protect the spray paint job on the...
Yeah, what do you think of that?
I like it. Is it also kind of... Is it slightly like padded or cushioned, or is it rigid?
It's just a $17 item anybody can afford. I'm just kidding.
It's way several decades too late for mine.
Yeah, mine's pretty more to black, so.
It's gray. It can be adapted to a white cabinet.
Okay. Neat. It's not...
Well, you can go ahead and put up the magazine thing.
All right,
Let's
so
go through it page by page.
Okay, so the topic today is hot on the heels of Facebook, which has got no shortage of people who like to talk about things. But we've been talking about a rainbow magazine, and it kind of started with Ron, with all of his artistry, throwing up all these cool mock covers. He threw up a cover, like a faux rainbow cover. With like, what would a rainbow look like today? Would Rainbow be talking about the Coco Crew podcast and the fact that new games are still being made? And what's that?
I was just saying, see what you went and started now?
Yeah, right. So he did kind of this mock-up thing, and that got a lot of people talking about, hey, wouldn't it be kind of cool to have a rainbow magazine? And, everybody's chiming in, yes, it would be cool, and should it be quarterly? Would it be monthly? Is it timely? Is it really news by the time it hits a magazine? What's it going to cost? Who's going to pay for it? So we can talk about all those things. But in the meantime, I'm a big believer in, you can talk the talk or you can walk the walk. And so Ron actually walked the walk, and he's actually produced a mock-up, or the beginning of a rainbow magazine. So here you see the cover. And it looks really nice, right? It looks like what the rainbow would kind of look like here. And we got our different Cocos on the cover. We got the hot and cold splash back there, which looks really neat. And then here we have the inside of the first page, and it just looks really cool. It looks very retro. So under the rainbow features, well, we have Cocotalk is being featured. Tandy Assembly is being featured. The SDC in its features by Ron Delvaux, the Coco Crew podcast. Two guys in a mic, Roku on a Coco TV channel. Who would have imagined, that we would see the Coco on television at any given time? You know what I mean? It's just like the fact that there's Coco on TV is pretty impressive, right? So there's your table of contents. Then we get into a hardware project, music card add-on, vendors for the Coco. Who can fix my Coco, right? New games and software, retro ads. And so, so Tandy Assembly is featured. So I love this. We start off with a print number -2. Do you want to read this in your own words, Ron, so I don't screw it up, or do you want me to read it for you?
Yours is a little pixelated. I have to bring mine up real quick. Hang on a second.
All right. It'd be good to hear it in your voice and not mine.
Yeah, here it goes. Okay, I got it up. It says, we as a group of old and a mixture of new color computer enthusiasts have a variety of opinions on how this magazine should be. I saw a lapse of time go by where nothing was getting done, so I jumped in with both feet, took on the job. Two things came to mind as I was working on it. First one was this thing's going to take a tremendous amount of time, and number two, once it's done, I'm using a software package that's not mainstream. It's not Apple or whatever, so it's actually CorelDRAW. Okay. So whoever wants to continue doing this thing is going to have to convert some files or figure a way to continue the magazine. I'd like to thank Mark Overholzer because he called and helped, and while I was working away on it, and he's a nice guy. When I was first exposed to the computer, I had some deep, the Coco, I had deep feelings that the machine was going to be a challenge that I could tackle. Yeah, I pretty much did. I hope we can come to some agreement on the content of this magazine, so in the end there aren't hard feelings or bad things that happen. We all have a love for this machine. Then you would think that goals would fall in line and we'd all get this thing done at the same time and have the same feeling we had when the Rainbow first came into our hands the very first time.
Very cool. Very cool. And
so my article's not in the index.
well, this is the offline version, so just like we got to continuously divide things. So, so we remember the Coco Cat. This was from the July 1986 issue of the Rainbow. It was a dry transfer for a T-shirt included between the pages. Wow,
it was actually in reverse.
Yeah,
I still have mine.
Forward.
Coco Cat fan club member. That's pretty cool. So here's a picture of me, which is kind of scary. That's not good for readership whatsoever. So yeah, my first suggestion would be to get rid of that. And then now we have some pictures from Tandy Assembly. Here's a picture of part of my little setup here. There's my Neil Blanchard Coco, my Sega joypad adapter, and Pac-Man was running. I was also running Popstar Pilot. Here's some of looks like Peter Satinsky's setup here with all of his. So yeah, nice little full page ad kind of showing off some of, there's some more pictures from Tandy Assembly. A Y cable.
Scan these from your video.
Yeah. Thanks for doing that, Mark.
What format is this thing currently in?
PDF.
It's a PDF that he posted to Facebook, so you can get this from Facebook. So the up and coming VGA monitor, here's Rick Adams with his bomb threat, right? There's Rick in his booth. There's Bomb Threat running on the Raspberry Pi and Bomb Threat running on a real Coco 3. Very nice. Here is a list of the keynote speakers from Tandy Assembly. Very nice. And some of the other speakers. And we covered it, and we will cover any major gathering of the Coco community. Very, very cool. Nice little ad for Cocotalk. I like that.
Yep, that's right.
The color computer SDC super duper computer. The super duper computer. I like that. So here's your Coco SDC cartridge. The fact that we can now, this is what some people are thinking about doing, is distributing software on an SD card because we can make it auto boot. You can put a config file to load a floppy image, mount a floppy image, put an auto exec launcher on that floppy, and have self-launching things. So that's very cool. Nice picture. Here's the picture of the actual manual that we were just talking about, right? So right. John Strong is making cases. There's been the original case was kind of this acrylic one here. That's very cool looking. I think Tim Lindner designed that one. Yep. The Coco SDC was designed to go inside the original plastic casing of an original floppy controller, right?
Yep.
Right. It was that was its original footprint, so you could just repurpose that plastic. So yeah, we get into talking about the Coco SDC. Nice article here. I won't read the whole thing. This is kind of showing you how you can load up your different disks, and there's got a link to where you can get to the Coco SDC on the web. It replaces thousands of floppies. That is very, very true. It really does. Yes, and we have the Color Computer Archive. So for those of you who don't know, it's called colorcomputerarchive.com. It's a great place to go to get stuff. So it's nice to see that in the magazine. Remember the software you used back when? Knew the color computer? It is right here in the Tiraceti Color Computer Archive. I like that guy. He's cool looking, right? So here's a nice ad for the Coco Crew podcast. Very nice, very nice. Neil Blanchard, John Linville.
I like that, John. Is he there?
John still with us?
Should be.
Well, always nice to see some publicity, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you haven't got the bill yet.
So do you think I can pull some of this content out of this PDF and post it to the online version of the Rainbow?
Why not?
Yeah, we'll get there. These are the early stages of this. So yes, now go ahead.
I can send you.
Steve, yeah. So a comment there. Since this is already in a PDF, I know this is just a mock-up, but I can set up a PDF viewer on the Rainbow Online site. That way, they can view the whole thing.
Great.
And then
I was thinking for for the short term to take the text and some of the pictures out and put them in an online format to the online site, so they actually appear as articles, etc. Separate.
Oh, okay.
Well, either way, we'll figure that out. So yeah, this is kind of cool. This is something I'm interested in and I want to see, but there's Coco TV on Roku. I need to get a Roku to see this. So
if you look carefully, you see the Coco TV logo there. But if you look to the right, you'll see Coco as a little cartoon feature.
Yeah, because there's a movie coming out that's called Coco. Yeah. So interesting.
It's a color Coco logo.
Yeah, right next to Coco TV.
What's that? Is that Disney? Better be careful about that. They'll be suing somebody.
Yeah. No, it's kind of hard to sue over one word.
Prior art.
So this is what Coco TV looks like, huh? So we've got old commercials. Yeah. We've got some of the Pen Fest stuff. That's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm very curious to see this. Now, at the end of the day, this is all stuff you can see on YouTube. But if it's all put together in one channel and you can kind of surf it with your remote from the couch, it's kind of cool, right? So I'm definitely curious in seeing what that channel looks like. So the Coco community is strong, proud, and loyal, dedicated, and passionate. With new hardware and software being developed all the time, there's never a better time to get in on the Coco hobby.
Those are very cool. I took it from Coconut. The reason why I put that there is because it has a list of all the current stuff right there. And I think, if we do have a magazine, we should have a place that has all these links to all the really cool stuff to go to and find things. I just threw that there as a matter of having that on record, as a place to. And that your place is pretty, together.
Yeah, that's very cool. I like it.
At first, I was going to make OS 9 like Windows there. You can window. And that was the idea.
Neat. I'm a coconut.com, your one-stop shop for all your okay. So here's the Coco PSG review, and this is reviewed by who wrote this one?
Mr. Overholzer, I believe.
Okay. All right, so here's the link to the thing. Tested on a 128K Coco 3 with an upgraded MPI. By Mark D. Overholzer. Let's face it, stock Coco has had better sound. All right, so I won't read the whole thing now, but that's cool. And this is on Facebook, and hopefully we'll get this link to our site too. I am looking forward to reading that later. Looking good. Picture of the card. Interesting looking card there. OS 9 and its newer big brother Nitrous 9 on Facebook. That's right, we've got a Nitrous 9 group on Facebook. You've got to love that. Nitrous 9 takes advantage of that Hitachi processor, as everyone should. Okay, now who can upgrade my Coco from 128 to 512? Well, these fine vendors can. Cloud9 can. We should also throw in there Boyson Tech, Richard Lorbieski. He can do it too. Yeah,
we need. That's why it's empty, because
you got room. Yeah, new games. Bomb Threat by Rick Adams, and look at all these guys here. This is from last year's Coco Fest, right? So John Linville's got a bunch of offerings. Flood It's a new one. Bomb Squad. Now we have Popstar Pilot, and Bomb Threat is a new one. Forest of Doom is coming out. So yeah, it's an exciting time for new games for the color computer.
And Lumberman, we should probably add in there too.
Lumberman, yes, Lumberman's. And then
it just so happens that's the only game spot there is in there. And the Rainbow had tons of game stuff in there.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, we got to get more games being developed. Yeah, I like the retro ads too. Those are very cool. The ultimate color computer.
And I labeled it retro ads so they won't call those people.
Call now, toll free. Be curious to see who answers that phone now, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Heat up your Coco. New hard drives. Ooh, a 5 megabyte for $495. Sign me up for that one.
There are 1,000.
J&M.
That to be on the back end of
yeah. Well, so Ron, you did a hell of a job. You threw together a great little first Rainbow magazine. And you have to start. You have to start somewhere, and this is a great start. So, we've got some talented people in our group. Certainly, Ron, you're one of them with your art and your imagination and your kind of design skills. I know Bruce Moore has got some ideas on some ways he might be able to get things published, because Bruce is working on a book for his Forest of Doom. Oh, somebody's mentioning in the chat, Tim Franklin. He says, we need to have software listings like in the old Rainbow, right, where you can type in some programs. So that would be kind of cool. We'll get in.
That was on my to-do list to get.
Yeah, and
I've
so
got a bunch of stuff that I don't think many people have seen that I've created and typed in over the years, etc. So
I'm going to just show you real quick with the online version that I threw together, which is not anywhere nearly as impressive as Ron's, but you gotta put your money where your mouth is and get something out there and then build it and then let it grow. So we started a little website here that's called therainbow.online, and again, using some of Ron's artwork just to kind of get this thing's up and running here. So the rainbow.online, we kind of showed off the cover saying, hey, this would be kind of a cool idea if we do this. And then because it's a WordPress site, this is not super perfect, but it could work. So we have the ability for you to register and then create an article. So we've already got a couple articles created. And so one of the first articles that was created by Barry Nelson, and it's called The Poor Man's Cocoa. And here he's talking about what you can do with the cocoa, and he suggests that you could use like your smartphone as a cassette recorder and save things to tape and load, save things and record them as a WAV file and load them back. So this was kind of our first little article submission by Barry Nelson, and I definitely want to thank you for doing that, Barry, because until we start stepping up and actually doing something and walking the walk, we're going to continue to discuss and debate and dream about what there might be. So we have something started. Hopefully it'll grow into something kind of cool. Hopefully there could be some crossover between whatever the paper version is going to be versus the online version. So we've got rooms for articles. I've posted a list of links here. So we've got a link to where you can view on archive.org all of the original Rainbow magazines. And these are kind of cool because you can flip the pages. I've also linked to all the magazines you can get to from the Color Computer Archive, where you can download them in PDF. And there's many different versions. Some of them are text searchable and things like that. And then I've given you reference to I'm a Coconut, Cocoa Crew Org, which is the Cocoa Crew podcast, the Cocotalk Live, and then Boise and Bill's book, which is the you can go to Amazon to get that book. So these are some great resources here listed under links. We've got a little advertisers section here that will continue to flesh out, kind of similar to what Ron did. So we've got like Popstar Pilot and Bomb Threat listed here right now. And then we've just got some credits right now that just basically say that the artwork's done by Ron Delvaux, and that this was, I threw the website together, but Steve Batson is doing most of the heavy lifting right now of massaging pages and structure and stuff like that. So thank you, Steve, for taking over the wheel on this. And then thank you for Barry Nelson, and Mark Overholzer also just contributed something as well. So if we get these little articles written, this can just be kind of a cool little thing where the community can all chime in and write a story or write a review or write a something, So it's not perfect, but it's very easy to use. Here we go, ease of use. And it could hopefully evolve into something a little bit bigger and be, an online magazine. Maybe not as perfect as a real magazine, but certainly consumable. And because it's WordPress and it's responsive, you can view it. I was watching it on my phone, so you can pull this thing up and view it on your phone in a tall mode or a wide mode, and it works. So we have a couple of starting versions of what could be the Rainbow. You've seen those. So now let's just talk about it, and let's wish in one hand, and let's see what do you guys think about this happening. And